This is Out Loud and Laughing. Hey, John.
What's going on, Brian?
Oh, everything is going on. We are a trio today.
Oh, I love a trio, just invite everybody in.
Who doesn't love a good threesome?
Who's here?
So, I'm super excited to welcome a really good friend of mine. We lived together in New York City when we were youngish.
Youngin.
So I wanted to introduce Dave to the chat. Hi, Dave. It's like
It's David. I let you
it's
call
all
me Dave,
David.
but it's all David.
I'm gonna switch it up throughout this chat then, just to get you riled up.
Great.
Actually,
I appreciate it. You left out how we met, which was in gay softball, which I feel like is a quintessential young gay boy journey.
we did meet in gay softball. So I was a youngin in New York City living with women, and I feel like I was missing having gay friends. So I decided to join a gay softball league, which John has talked about doing recently. So he's kind of followed the same path. And on my team, I met David, who I feel like we were the ones of like the same age, because we also had some older folks. So you and I just easily connected and went from there.
There was like
I missed
a
that.
commonality of age, life purpose, vision. We got going quickly.
But we did not overlap on taste.
No, we did not overlap on tastes. And I feel like we
And
actually worked really well as roommates because we had no friends in common. And so it was like, great. You do you, I'm going to do me, and we will order pizza and meet in a safe place.
It's true. And you were
Yeah.
also a fan of not wearing clothes.
Yeah. And you wore your towel up to your neck. And so as much as I tried to get you to opposites attract.
Still do.
Yeah, exactly. It is
With the headpiece and all of it.
it's very overwhelming and very meticulous.
It is a way to dry all the bits below without having a towel.
So it was air drying.
It was total air dry. So the one thing we have a couple things we want to talk to you about today. So we're super excited to have you here. But the one thing that we do have in common now over the last 4 or 5 years now is we're both dads. So, I mean,
Many
talk about
people,
this a
many
lot.
forms, many forms, many steps, many signatures, many approvals.
So talk to me a little bit about your family unit, and then John and I want to ask you a little bit about fatherhood, and then kind of pivot into a different topic. But I kind of want to just let everyone understand, like, who's David? What's his family? What is that situation?
Yeah. Cool. So we live out in Portland, Oregon now. I became a West Coaster. And in my household, we have my husband, Raphael, and my 4-year-old child, Simon, who currently is not my responsibility because we're at my parents'. So he's with the grandparents for 2 weeks, and I'm living my best life.
And so since we were name correcting earlier, are we calling him Raphael now?
He loves a Raphael. I call him Rafi. We still actually argue because we met on the internet, and in his profile, he said Rafi, R-A-P-H-I, and then in parentheses, rhymes with coffee. Rafi and coffee do not rhyme. And we've been together 15 years, and I still think that I'm winning this. That's what you can tell me. Do you think Rafi and coffee rhyme? Let's settle it. Let's settle it for good.
Nothing rhymes with coffee.
There you go.
It's like purple
I
or
feel
orange.
validated.
There's some words you can't rhyme together, Rafi. I'll say it. I'm not scared. I live in Florida.
There you go.
Come for me.
I'll let him know. So, yeah, he's from Florida. So
don't come for me.
Yeah. So we get to go to Northern Florida a couple times a year. It's a real treasure. His favorite thing, though, is that people think he's from the Northeast. Like, he worked so hard to get Northern Florida out of his system that it brings him great joy when everyone's like, oh, you're not from Connecticut? You're not from Boston? I'm like, he's from Gainesville.
He's from Gainesville. Something else
Where
that you and
Brian
I have
also,
in common.
exactly. So, yeah.
A lot of overlap.
Yeah. But no, we have a 4-year-old who is frequently described as a high energy child. And he's very good at knowing how to get what he wants and which one of his parents is the emotionally weak one, me, and how to push those buttons.
I was going to ask if it rhymed with coffee.
It does not.
Okay.
Rafi and I have a lot in common and a lot different. Like Rafi, I've never had a moment of self-confidence. He's never had a moment of self-doubt. And so Simon could do all these things with me that just like gut me to the core. And Rafi's like, I do not care.
That's so
Like
fun.
you can say whatever you want, child. Nothing's getting into this.
Well, it sounds like fatherhood is treating you well.
It's allowed me to grow into my sexy a bit and, really leaning into that. And I think we just wanted to have kids to be the hot dads at school. And you just, all the cliches are true. It goes by as quickly as they say. My phone
Yeah.
pops up those photos of, when he's 3 days old, and I just don't get it. But he's definitely the best thing that's happened to me. So it's been amazing.
I was going to follow up by asking what's been the most surprising aspect of fatherhood for you?
Oh, okay. So I'll go tactical and strategic.
Love it.
So
Wide and deep.
Love it.
tactical, no one tells you how quickly those toenails grow and how frequently you have to trim their nails as an infant. Like
That's a fact.
That's great.
nowhere in any of the things does someone say, hey, you're going to have to spend half of your first life trimming this. And I made him bleed when he was maybe like 3 weeks old, and I haven't cut a nail since. Like Rafi also does all the practical things. Like he fixes things, he solves things. So that now falls into his genre or his responsibilities. Yeah, the nail cutting for sure. No one tells you
That's
how
a good one.
this will be. And then I think strategically, just like the way that it frames danger differently, right? Like now I see groups of 14-year-old boys come to the park, and I'm just like, ugh, like less of that. We're not doing that. Calm it down. But yeah, you just see everything through a different lens, and it gives it like a depth that I personally, did not have prior, which has been pretty incredible.
I find that very interesting over your answer because now that I think about it, I feel like I'm cutting Kenzie's nails every other day. And whenever I get her hand, I'm like, did that just grew back? Like it is wild actually. I never thought about that.
Oh, yeah. I just look at his nails and I'm like, in my mind, I go, someone should cut those, but that someone is not going to be me.
See,
we
I'm
tried
the one in charge of it.
Oh, well, they have the nail clipper, then they have the buffer, they have like all these different systems. And his little dinosaur nails were like, nope, I'm not working with any of these, but it's constant and nonstop. And apparently it happens until they're much older. Like someone's like, yeah, I still cut my 8-year-old's nails. And we're not doing that. That's soft parenting. That's not happening in my household.
Yeah, no, same independence for real. Kenzie also got this nail painting kit where she puts her hands in now and she pushes down and a wind blows on it so she can dry her nails too. So she is a very nail. Oh yeah, it's very. I use it even. It's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kenzie is very much a fan.
I like that.
I did want to. I mean, obviously, I'm close enough to you, so I know you as a dad, as a friend, everything, and I feel like I actually admire you because I feel like you do a really good job of being a gay dad, also thriving as a gay man, because those could be exclusive, right? They're two different things, like making sure that you could still enjoy being a gay man, not always just be a dad figure. And I would just love to like, how do you prioritize you? Because I feel like you do such a better job than I do.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, and Brian, you were there for a lot of this, is in my early 20s, I started having very significant health challenges, and I had to learn to become ruthless in my prioritization of my time because I literally did not have the energy to do any of what I wanted to do. And so I've learned to let go of all the things that I don't care about, and then figure out where am I going to fit it. So obviously, like, not super fun, the health part, but definitely the learning of stopping caring really what a lot of people think, the learning of, oh, I should be doing this, and more just, I got 17 minutes, where do I want to spend it? And then, one of the parent cliches, right, that made sense once I became a parent was the whole, you got to put your oxygen mask on first before you can do it for someone else. But there's that piece. And then, I think Raphael and I, we have one child. And so I think keeping our own individual time was really important for us. So we rotate weekend nights off. So 8 o'clock Friday until Saturday, 10 a.m. I am off the clock. I can go do whatever I want, wherever I want. And then he's off the clock Saturday, 8 p.m. until 10 a.m. Sunday. So we each get a little bit of sleep, but then also a little bit of freedom. And we just sort of fell into that system. I don't think when we had a kid, we were like, this is what we're going to do, but it's worked really well for us.
Yeah, thanks for that insight. I don't know you as well as Brian, so um, I'm so glad that you've been able to manage whatever it was your body was doing to you in this life. Recently we spoke with a mutual friend of all of ours here, Brian Rosenberg, over at Gay with Kids and GWK Academy, and
Yeah.
his message was so poignant. Talking about managing health and wellness, right? And the possibility of a chronic illness, alongside
Hmm.
being a parent. And I sort of see some parallels here where Brian's story is a little different as to yours, but um, and very inspirational to hear you accept the ways that you needed to sort of take out of your life the things that weren't serving you and to replace them with things that you are more passionate about. Outside of being a father, you also have a wonderful company, Hey Gaddies.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
tell us a bit about it and the inspiration behind it, kind of why you started it?
Yeah. So Gaddies is a couple months old. And, as Brian knows, being a parent is very isolating. And I became a parent during COVID, so even more so. Um, but really, the inspiration was something I think is relatable for all queer people. It was, I'm at the park, you're trying to figure out, are those guys gay dads? Are they hipsters? Like, what's going on? And so I thought, how cool would it be if we had a way to signal to one another, sort of taking hanky culture from the back pocket to maybe the front, right? And I knew I wanted to do something with gay and dad. I just didn't know what it was going to be. So got inspired by that real moment. I was working in apparel at the time, so had this background in sort of using physical product to bring community together. Threw a lot of names on the board and came up with the term Gaddy or gay daddy. Realized that didn't exist yet and that it should. And now I'm living my best millennial gay dream, making fetch happen. So
Yeah.
the inspiration was definitely, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Inspiration was definitely representation and visibility. Like gay dad families are not seen in the market. And I use the marketplace to talk about physical product. We're not seen anywhere. And if you are seen, it's in like a 17-day window between Pride and Father's Day.
Mhm.
And so Gaddies is really here to sort of bring that message 365 and talk directly to families that aren't having anyone speak to them or share their stories or look like them or represent them, but doing it from a dad first lens and really focusing on the parents.
I love that. I followed your journey before this thing even launched, so it's been
Yeah.
fun to see it come to your second baby come to fruition. You put on as much time into this as you have as a dad, so I could definitely say that.
I say anyone listening that has started a company, I just want to give everyone a hug that's ever
I know.
started anything and be like, I had no idea how hard this was, but I see you
It's
and I
it's
appreciate your
work.
journey. Oh,
I know.
so hard.
People don't
Yeah.
realize when they see like a website, like everything that went into that. What's been the most rewarding now that you've been live for a couple of months? You're out there.
Yeah.
You have unveiled yourself. You're who you are through this brand. What's been like rewarding?
Yeah. Definitely seeing how dads around the world have sort of connected and reacted. So, I think the most meaningful moment for me thus far was on Father's Day. On Instagram, you had all these dads who had purchased the product over the last couple of months that they put up their Father's Day post, sort of wearing Gaddies and talking about what it meant. And that was like an oh fuck moment. I was like, oh, like that I did that, and that's exactly why I did this. So, I think all of us have our own demons, and certainly like confidence and belief and all those are a big part of my journey. But that was a really cool moment to just sit and reflect and say, this is the community that we're helping building, and certainly like Brian engaged with kids, they built this community, and this is really serving it in a new way that hasn't been done before. And so hearing that reflected back from dads keeps me going. I did about 200 interviews with that sort of during the process and learning, and I try to do 1 to 2 a week currently because that's what gives me the energy to go. Because every time I talk with someone, you get the energy and you get reminded of why you're doing this, which helps. overcome some of the days where you do not want to do this and in fact just want to go cry. But here we are.
If you want to, if you want, if to our listeners and viewers, if you guys want to see some really inspirational stories, head over to Hey Gaddies on Instagram. And they've got some really awesome apparel, and then B, some really inspirational stories as well, which is so important, right? Representation. You've mentioned
Yeah.
representation, David, a couple times, and I'm curious, from my perspective, what does it mean to you to represent gay dads this way and to make apparel, especially in a marketplace that's, for lack of for the fact of
Yeah.
built for heteronormativity,
Yeah. I mean, I can think about answering that a couple different ways. To the first piece specifically, like for me, Gaddies as a brand works if you tell it as the members of the community, right? So it's not a David focused brand. And it actually means a lot to sort of hear you say, like, hey, I've been on the page and seen all these different types of families and telling those stories, because that's what this is meant to be doing. And I've sort of been using the very simple line of saying, 90% of parenting's the same no matter what you're doing or where, right? There's like commonalities, but those 10% of things that are very unique to our experience, that's what we want to focus on. And that's not being told right now, but we tell each one of those different stories from a different family. And so you're seeing all these pieces. And then I think to your question of like, what is it like to step into a marketplace and be a bit different? It's both so exciting. Actually, no, it's just so exciting right now because it's just me, myself, and I to, as Beyonce said, I'm going to be my own best friend and I can do whatever I want, right? I'd worked at big companies before and you had to socialize all these decisions and I don't have to socialize shit. I make up my mind and I do it. Don't know if that's correct, but we're doing that and I can take chances and I can try because this is the first time that someone is doing something like this. You got to throw some stuff at the wall and see what sticks, but doing it in a way that will let you learn. I just did my first in-person event a couple weeks ago at a Pride out in Oregon. Yeah, that was super fun. Getting the reactions and, our tagline for the dad in you, people have a lot of fun with and sort of, puts it all together. Thank you. My marketing 101 class was really coming in there,
Oh
but
my God, that's great.
Getting out of my base, I do need to also do like a for the dads in you shirt that can sort of, we can put we need to be a little more communal there as well. But there I met this pair of sisters that they were in their 70s and they came up and they were talking to me about how their dad, who's no longer living, came out at age 62. He'd had 5 kids and came out later in life. And those are like, especially some of the stories I'm trying to tell, because actually the vast majority of men who identify as gay and dads in the US right now, their children came from relationships, prior heterosexual relationships, and that's not seen anywhere. Or we're doing a series soon of what is it like to become an Insta-Gaddy, right? Like you never thought that kids were part of your journey, but then you start dating someone that has kids and you become a father in that way. Or what does it mean now in 2025 to date with intention around kids being gay? When do you bring it up in the dating process? How do you sort of filter? And that's what's changed so quickly, even in the last like 10 to 15 years, I think. And putting all those pieces together while still being a gay man, a queer man, and not leaving any of those parts behind. Because a lot of what changes are just you're becoming a parent less than you're becoming a gay parent. And I think I personally get a little bit frustrated with some of the notions that still exist around that. And I'm trying to find the ways to bust them.
I agree. I love that. I think your brand stands for so much positivity, but we also shouldn't forget that it is still a gay brand and your marketing message for the dad in you, which there's so many different ways to play on that. And I would actually love to hear the fun parts of this too, or a little bit around like, you are a gay brand and gay men and people and like, what's some of the tea? What's some of the, how has it gotten spicy? How are the DMs?
Yeah. So, well, Brian knows this. I hate the internet, and so I did not have social media before this, and so I downloaded Instagram. I am now on there, and it really does go down in the DMs, like just unprompted sending of so many things. It's definitely the quiet Midwestern types that I have found you got to look out for the most. it's funny because like as Gaddies, I get to sort of be this like neutral party where people just sort of tell me all the things. And Brian knows that. Like when Brian and I lived together, I was a hotline suicide crisis counselor for the Trevor Project,
Thank you
right?
for your work.
And so you sort of learn to listen. Yeah, no, I mean, it's such an incredible experience. But I think even some of that, like bringing it in and allowing people to fill the space. So a lot of Midwestern folks looking for some connection. I love when I'm talking to both members of the couple and you're just like, what app is this? Because this could really be on so many different platforms, but people,
Hey, Grinder.
I think sort of the ethos. Yeah, exactly. There's we're coming out, by the time it comes out, we'll have had our little leather line come out, the Heartness collection, throwing a harness on a heart.
Yes.
And that is really rooted in saying becoming a parent doesn't eliminate desirability, right? It doesn't eliminate your desires. It doesn't eliminate people being desired toward you. And certainly in like the gay and queer community where that has been so front and center for so many different positives or negative reasons, that's like a real conversation to have and not shy away from, because you're getting the babysitter and you're going out to the bar, right? Or all those different things. But definitely, I don't know what Instagram is doing in terms of studying their gay clientele and how we use the app, but it is certainly special. I will say a gay dad's Instagram stories are the most chaotic place I've ever been, because it goes from like school recital and play dates to very different play dates immediately after. And I don't have any context for how this works in the straight world, but it's the beautiful chaos that is who we are. So that has been very exciting.
I want to hear a couple more of your DM stories if you have any juicy ones, but I just wanted to pepper in that I love that you're doing this sort of reframing around like the leather wear and stuff, because if you look at, again, comparing this to the more heteronormative marketplace, you have the most prolific brand in the world, the rich, like Victoria's Secret, which sexualized parents. These were professionals. These were people who were well respected, and they were really enjoying their life on all aspects, including their private life. So I just wanted to celebrate and take a moment to say thanks for the reframe. That's beautiful.
Yeah, we're doing it. And I think from a business lens, it's being super clear, like this is who I'm speaking to and this is who I'm talking to. And Brian knows we have sort of outer layers, right? So we have a couple different groups. We have the folks that I call our Gadi baddies. So those are the people that have always sort of had gay and queer friends, and now they're dads and they want to learn to celebrate them. So part of the inspiration, maybe back to your first question, I think people want to celebrate gay dads. They want to celebrate the families of gay dads. They don't know how to, and so they don't do anything, right? Like anytime we don't know something, we'll do it. So part of this is using celebration as validation. So on the website, right, you can buy apparel and merch. We sell books featuring gay dads and gay dads' families. So if you're looking for a way to come and celebrate that person in your life, it can be sort of the one-stop shop for that.
Love.
It's a cool brand. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm staying close to it. Anyone listening, it's heygaddies.com.
Yeah.
I'll plug it for you.
Yeah. HEYGADDIES. Tried to do the little HOTTOGO thing. Didn't take off the way I wanted, but someone will.
It'll take off.
See it. Yeah,
See, it's so good.
It's really good.
It's so good.
Yeah. So, there are those pieces. And then, I got my grandpa who's 100. He's wearing the Gadi hat. And you're just putting all the pieces together. So
the OG Gadi. I love it.
OG Gadi. Yeah.
Well, thank David for joining our pod. We loved having you on. We would love to have you back. I think I would love to have an episode dedicated to what do you do Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. I think all the listeners now just need to know, but I feel like we need more time for that.
Check out Only Gads. That's where that content will live. Also, Gaddy's Gone Wild, dropping early next year. Honestly, like if that's how I end up monetizing this situation, then whatever. That is
Done.
what it is. But mostly I started a company so I could come on this podcast, and it has been a true honor. And thank you for the two of you doing what you do.
Oh, thank you.
Spoiler alert, we would have had you on anyway.
Bye.
This was Out Loud and Laughing.
We're available everywhere you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple, YouTube, iHeart, or wherever.